Alright, hi there, YouTubers. This is our video on how to get the AT&T Uverse into bridge mode so we can hand off the controls to our Netgear Nighthawk router that we're putting in place. It's the Nighthawk AC 1900, and also known as the model R7000, which has the capabilities of the standards of the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz range, which is the BGN for 2.4 and then the ANAC for the 5 gigahertz range. Also, which, by the way, the AT&T Uverse does not have. They only have the BG, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this. And then also you'll notice here it's got the 1,000 megabyte per second for your LAN for this. So you got the gigabit Ethernet ports LAN connection, and then also we'll be able to set up our DNS, our open DNS that we'll need to do, because you can't do that on the AT&T, which is just another. It's a safe browsing habit to get into with the open DNS. At any rate, so what you'll do here, all the lights are flashing and it says broadband service and everything's ready to go on this. I already reset it to factory configurations to save some time, but what you'll do is you'll, on the back here, you'll see the reset switch on the back of the gateway. This, by the way, this gateway is the 3801. And they call it the 3801. So you would push the reset button here, the red reset button, hold it for 5 to 10 seconds, and it takes about 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes to reset. This is our coaxial cable, which the TV feed comes in. This is our DSL line for the internet. The broadband, which is another input that I'm not using, but it's an input in case you have a different configuration. The yellow cable here goes to our set top box, which is our DVR, our recording, so we record all our TVs, and it has to stay on the gateway. That's real important. A lot of times people will make the mistake and put this wire on the back of either the router or on their switch, the network switch. But it's got to stay here. This is our Ethernet LAN connection for our home network. Right now I have this going out to my Ethernet switch that goes to all the other computers in the house, as well as my home entertainment center. But what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be bridging this over to the Nighthawk here. Right now it's not powered on. There's a power button back here, but I don't have it powered on. We're going to get to that in a minute. So after it's reset, you push the reset button. What you'll see is all these lights will go off. It'll look blank. This will momentarily turn red, then it turns green, and it'll stay there for 2 or 3 minutes, and you think nothing's happening because this is all blank. But it'll work. It just takes about 5 minutes, and then once that's done, we need to set it up into bridge mode. So we're going to hand off the controls from the Uverse over to the Netgear. So let's go to the PC to get that done. Okay, so we're at the PC. The web browser's already open. So what you do now is you're going to log into the Uverse Gateway, which is the 192.168.1.254. Okay. Once you've logged in, you'll see the screen here, and you'll say down here, home network devices down at the bottom. Okay. You'll see they all say active. So we're all active here. But eventually, what will end up happening is these will turn to inactive. A couple of them will, but not all of them. The only ones that once I plug into the router, then those ones will be inactive. So what we'll do is we're going to click on Home Network up here, and we click on System Information. We click on Event Notifications. Then we enable the detection of router behind router conditions. Once we do that, we click Save. It's going to ask us for our password. So you enter it in, which that is found on the bottom of the Uverse Gateway. There we go. Once you do that, configuration is successful. So at this point, what we're going to do is go back to the gateway and hook up the router, and then we'll come back here. Okay, the only thing that needs to be done here is we're unplugging our home network connection off the LAN. We've got another patch cable that you're going to need, and we're going to bridge it over. So we're going to plug it where we unplug this one from. We can just unplug it back in. You can use any of the ports, but it really doesn't matter. And then we're going to complete the bridge and make sure the router is off right now. And then we're going to plug it into the internet port, the yellow internet port on the back of the Nighthawk. Of course, you can use any router that you want. I'm just using the Nighthawk here as an example. So once that's done, now you need to plug in the cord that you unplugged from the gateway into the back of the Nighthawk, into the LAN ports here. Okay? So you just plug it into any one of the ports. Okay? Once you've done that, you turn it on. It'll go through a cycle down here. The lights all cycle through. I'm just straightening out the gateway there. Okay. So that's now when we go to the PC, it should detect router behind router and allow us to finish up the configuration. So let's go take care of that. We may have to reboot the router one more time, and or reboot the PC for it to connect. All right. So I'm going to close this window. I'm going to reopen up the browser. And more than likely it won't connect, which isn't uncommon. As it says, it's not going to connect. I can tell you that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart my machine here to establish the new IP, which is just the easiest way. You can go through the configuration and renew the IP address and all that stuff, but it's just much easier to restart the PC. So it's trying to connect. It's going to time out here. So what I'm going to do at this point, there's no point of wasting any more time because I know it's not going to connect. So I'm just going to restart. Okay, I should get a notification down here on the bottom. Okay, right here. Let's zoom in on that. Additional login information may be required. It's going to say click to open your browser. Alright, so I'm going to do that. I'm clicking, so open up the browser. And, okay, see right here it says, you're going to get this message, important update, to avoid a conflict with your internet service provider, your router's IP address has been updated to 10.0.0.1. Which that's the bridge happening. That's just part of the process. Because on the gateway, your the IP addresses are in the 192.168 range, so they don't want any conflicts, which makes sense. So you click continue. Okay, and it gives you your default wireless SSID names and as well as password, and you can print this if you wish. So at this point, I don't need to. What we need to do is we need to get the screen to get the detection of router behind router. So I'm going to close this window, restart the browser. Okay, and it says I have a live connection. Now I'm going to go try to log into the Uverse, which it allowed me to do. and I need to get it's going to tell me router behind router condition. So I believe if I start, there we go. Okay, I close the browser again. Okay, once you log in and log back out, you close the browser, then you get this screen. That's what I was wanting to get to happen. There is a manual way to get it done, but it just makes it easier for those not knowing what they're doing to do it this way. So it'll say router behind or router detected, and it's going to ask you for the password on the bottom of the Uverse again. So you go ahead and you type that in. And then once you do that, you click Resolve. You don't want to disable, you want to click Resolve. That'll complete the bridge and hand off the controls. Okay. Router, okay, it says done. The following device has been assigned to the DMZ plus mode. That's what we wanted. Then the device name is the R7000, and it gave it the IP of 99.26.145.244. You click done, and it says down here, you must reboot your router so that it works correctly. After we rebooted your router, come back here and click done. So I'll be right back. I'm going to click reboot the router. Okay, I've rebooted the router. So we'll just give it a minute or two here to establish itself, and then I'll click done, and then we'll continue on. Settings that we need to change in the AT&T Uverse to fully complete the bridge mode. So let's see, we'll get to that here. I'm going to click done. Okay, it's waiting for the connection. It's still waiting for it. So, okay, resolution successful. The error has been successfully resolved, so please close down your browser and restart it to continue browsing online. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll close the browser, open up the browser, and there we go. We got connection, and more than likely, if I open up the networking and I go to the adapter settings and properties, you will see the well, actually that's not what I wanted to get to, but there we go. That's what I wanted to get to, is right here. Okay, the details. So we have, I'm going to click details. Now let's see, you see it has the new IP address that's been assigned. It's in the 10 range. So 10.0.0.1. Okay, so that's, and the IP address for this is 0.2. So that shows you that it's the Netgear has taken over. But to fully complete it, we're going to log back into the AT&T router. Got to there. Now you go to Home Networking. Click on Home Networking. Probably I should show you one thing here. Let's see, just for curiosity. Okay, it says inactive. So see, it says inactive here because it handed off. That way, that tells you that it handed off the controls of my PC to the Netgear. And these other items that are active are the ones that are still plugged into the back of the gateway because they need to be there. Okay. So go to Home Networking. And we'll go to Firewall. And oh, I just wanted to show you something there. Okay, you see the firewall status. It shows the device, the R7000. It handed it all off in the DMZ settings, and that's, you can set this up manually, but the setting it behind router took care of that. So now what I want to do is get to advanced configuration, log in, put in the password. Okay, what we're going to do is there's enhanced security. These items, these two are checked. If you want, make a note down, just so if you ever want to set things back, you can. Just print out this page or do what you want. But you unselect these top two. The outbound, everything is selected except for the NetBIOS. Same thing here, NetBIOS isn't selected. And then you unselect the attack detection down here, because we're going to let the control of the Netgear router take care of all that. So you unselect all these down here, and then as well as the ones up top. I unselected those, and once you do that, you just click Save. Okay, that completes what we need to do on the Netgear, or I mean on the, on the gateway, on the AT&T gateway. Now we're going to get to the Netgear and set a few things up there. So the login for that is www.routerlogin.net. It's going to ask you for the login information, which default is admin, and I believe there's no password. You just leave it blank. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, the password was password. So it's admin and then password. So you type in password where it says password. That's what it was. Okay. So once we're in here, one of the first things that you're going to want to do, especially with the AT&T, is you go to, and we need to set up what they call the disable IGMP proxy. And I'm trying to just recall exactly where that's at, but it's going to be, oh, I think it's under advanced. Here we go. Administration. Okay, so here we are. It looks like it's not under administration. I believe it's under setup. And then we go to, oh, it asks me to log in again. Okay, so we go to WAN. Yeah, here we go, WAN. Okay, so right here, under disable IGM proxy. Let's see if I can get in on that a little bit better. Okay, so you see that there? We want to unclick that, because we don't want to disable IGM proxying, because otherwise you could have stuttering with the video display on your TV. I believe is one of the options. I think there might be some other factors that go into play there as well. So once we do that, we click Apply. Okay, we click Apply, and it's updating the settings. And then the only other things that we would probably want to do is set up the wireless, and then also if you like OpenDNS, to set up the OpenDNS as well. That way, and it's better to set up the OpenDNS within the router rather than each machine. So we're waiting for this to update the settings. I like to set my wireless. Usually, they have it on set up in automatic mode, but I like to set it to a more permanent. It seems like the wireless and everything just works much faster, much smoother when it's not set to auto. But anyway, that's the end of the AT&T bridge handoff. The controls, now it's just a matter of just configuring your router to the way that you want it. So if you go to wireless, you'll see here it's set to auto right here. I changed that to 3, and I click Apply, and we're all taken care of there. So now the only other thing would be the DNS, and if I remember right, okay, right here under Internet setup, under Internet setup, it says domain name server DNS address. Okay, I use these addresses here. which are 208, 222, oh, excuse me, 208, 67, then 222, 222, and then the same thing down here. There's going to be a minor change. Instead of 222, it's 220, and then 220. You click Apply, and it's updating those settings. Now, the only other thing that you would want to do is open a command line prompt to flush out the DNS, and that simply is done by going to your command line prompt, which you're going to go to Programs, Accessories, Command Prompt, but you want to right-click and run it as administrator. Type in your password. Okay, and then on the command line, you just type in IP config / flush DNS. And as you see there, it says successfully flushed the DNS resolver cache. At this point, you can just close that. And of course, by the time I was able to log in and do that, this had finished updating back here, so we should have been fine. So that takes care of this tutorial here as far as setting up the router, AT&T Gateway, and router bridge mode setup. So it just hands off. Basically, all it's doing is handing off the controls from the AT&T Gateway over to the Netgear router.